All right, dude. So I think that it's officially time that women need to have a shopping permit. If they can't go to the grocery store without getting in people's way and fucking my day up, they need to go through some type of course. You know, you have to drive through and park in the parking lot. You have to make sure you know how to push a cart. You go through the right way. You have to stay on the right side of the aisle, not on the left side of the. You don't park in the middle of the aisle and just fucking stand there and start yelling at your kids and talking on the phone. And I go to the store the other day and I pull in. This fucking woman is just sitting in the middle, like right in front where you got parking lot here, you got store here, and she just fucking parked there with her light on, with her blinker on. And I'm sitting there, I'm going, what the fuck is this woman's problem? Just go. And she's waiting for somebody to pull out. So I start honking at her. Get fucking move. Go. I can't move until you fucking go. And she's doing I don't know what to do. So the person finally backs out. She fucking goes, Austin Powers, a million fucking times. I'm still honking at her. Get out of the way. Just fucking park. She finally gets into the spot. And I go, Jesus Christ, finally. And then she pulls up to somebody pulls out in front of her. So she pulls up to that spot. I go, fuck it, I'm taking this spot. I come in behind her. And then as I'm going into the spot, she's backing into me. And I'm going, what the fuck are you doing? And I'm honking at her like, don't fucking hit me. And she goes, you're in my spot. And I go, no, you're in your spot. This is my spot now. Get the fuck out of the way. And then, of course, I go in and people are just standing around and it's just like, go, just move. Taking forever. If you can't do the self-checkout within 5 minutes, and if you have to ask for help more than once, go to the line. Go to the other lines. You can't if you can't do it, don't make everybody else suffer for it.
Yeah, well, I mean that would make sense, right? I have a real pet peeve right in line with that, like you said, with the shopping carts. And my theory is same thing. You know, you have a fucking driver's license. Shopping cart operation in the aisles, in the rows, whatever. It rules of the road. Like, just fucking, you stay to the right. Fucking, my big one.
I go to the grocery store with purpose. I have things that I'm going to get, and then I want to leave. I'm not going to stand in there
fuck out.
And look around the aisles and go, I wonder if they got anything different this time.
It's that consumer mindset. But one thing that happens a lot that my fucking my mom used to do all the time, and it would drive me nuts. She'd be walking down an aisle or something, right down the middle, and then just stop. Yeah. Just stop right in the middle. Not even like, pull off to the shoulder. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no. Dude, this happened to me the other day. I'm leaving through self-checkout, and then this fat, slow woman gets in front of me, and then she stops in between the doors. You got the double doors. You go through one, then there's a spot where they have the candy and shit, and then you go through the other, the parking lot. And she's just stopped there. I'm like, what are you doing? Can you move, please? Oh, well, I was looking for my keys. Well, look for them at your fucking car. How about that?
Yeah.
And get the fuck out of my way.
Yeah. I definitely feel you on that one, man.
All right. Let's get it rolling. Oh, you got something else before we roll?
Nah.
Yeah. Rolling. What's going on? It's time for another episode of Too Hard for the Radio. Transmitting from the future free state of Greater Idaho, I am the one-armed madman. Back with me from the badlands of southern Montana, it's Nolan 5150. I did a full revamp on my touchpads the other day.
Nice.
So we're in gear for some fun ones. I'm gonna try it out. I'm gonna try and get my mind to think about these things at the right time and maybe have a little bit more fun on the show. We'll see. It'll probably be like every other time, and I'll just forget about it all together. Right?
Yep.
What's going on? How's life?
Fucking busy. Just trying to. We start. Let's see. So we're still on our winter hours, so we're only open till 5, but we go back to 6 this week, and then next month we go to 6 fucking days a week, and just just the calm, kind of the calm before the storm, I guess. So trying to gear up mentally and physically, but never really prepared. It just cracks me up. It's kind of like every fucking season. You put all this time in. I've been putting a lot of time in now that I'm foreman. I've been putting a lot of time in individually with the different guys, trying to get them kind of like up to speed on program, so that way when we get super busy, I don't have to worry about the guys that were already there that I already put the time in with. Hopefully, for the most part, they'll be able to leave me alone and do their fucking job. Yeah. And then we had a guy last summer. We brought him back, and we hired another guy that is just like basically completely green. He's never worked in as a mechanic in a shop. He was like a tire tech for a while for cars and shit, so he's got like that experience. But other than motorcycle experience, he just doing shit on his own bike, and he's in a club doing stuff on like his club brothers' bikes. A lot of times
that's an easier person to train than somebody who's bounced around to 10 different shops and has their own way of doing things. Because like when you know how to do things yourself, you know that there are better ways to do it. It's like you're not in this box where you think I know how to do everything right. It's like, no, I know how to do these things, but I probably don't know how to do it correctly. And somebody who's been doing this for a living for a long time will be very easily be able to show me the right way to do it.
Yeah, you'd think so, man, but it's crazy how hard it is to to fucking get through to people, and I'm pretty good at it. I have a lot of patience, and like the guy that we had last summer had to butt heads a few times, and I had to let him fuck up and fail quite a few times. Yeah. And he was starting to get it. He was starting to realize that when I tell him how to do something, even though before I wasn't foreman, so I was just like suggesting, I'm like, you can do whatever you want, but this is how I would do it. Now, at least I can go over there and be like, stop what you're doing, do it this way. So, but yeah, you're totally right on the green guy, because it's a lot easier to teach people shit that they don't know and teach them the way you want than to try to unlearn bad habits. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, no, I've trained so many bartenders over the years, and like, and in San Francisco, I liked trial by fire. During the off season, we were slow for the most part. Like during the summer, you were rocking and rolling, but then come, like September, things really slowed down quite a bit. But then at the end of October, you get Fleet Week, which is the biggest week of the year. So you would like hire people that were green, and then it's just like, hey man, we're going to toss you into the fire, because most of the year is rocking and rolling, but there are those slow times where it's good to like kind of be able to teach them, how to use the computer system, how to make the drinks, like memorize all that stuff. And then you get your trial by fire. Holy shit, I'm not prepared for this. Then you get a couple more months to get kind of back into it before you actually get into the summer season. So yeah, I've been there. It's no fun. Well, we do have an industry that is slowing down, and I believe this is a leading indicator for the health of the economy in this nation. So let's check in on Las Vegas.
Hello. It's Vegas Police C, and the Las Vegas visitor numbers are in for February, and unfortunately, they are pretty awful. Visitor volume was down 11.9%. Hotel occupancy on the Strip was down from 86 to 83%. Average room rate down from 269 to 198. Revenue per available room, it was destroyed. I've never seen it drop like this. 29% from 233 down to 166. The number of rooms occupied was down 400,000 for the month, and Strip gaming winnings were down 110 million, or 14%. A drop from 800 million to 690 million. Shout out to Jonathan Jossel. Even though downtown was down 5%, I know his numbers had to be up. Why?
All right, we don't care about the other part of that. What we really care about is Las Vegas is going through some hard times right now. And the reason this is important is because when people don't have disposable income, they start to tighten up. And places like Las Vegas are the first places that really start to feel this, because it's, Las Vegas is an expensive vacation. You're going to lose some money gambling. You're going to go to a bunch of shows. You're going to go out to dinner a bunch. And like right now, people are tightening up. And I think this is a a pretty decent indicator that we've got some hard times ahead, you know? And just to remind people that maybe haven't been listening to us for the past year, my theory for at least a year, maybe longer before Trump got elected, was that the powers that be, in the people who are really pulling the strings, who are really have their hands on the levers, people whose names we are not familiar with, they had decided that Trump was going to win. We're going to let him win. We can't cheat like we did in the previous election. People are going to lose their minds if we do that again. So we kind of just have to brush that aside and just make no mention of it in coming years. So my whole theory is Trump wins and they destroy the economy around him, and we're in it right now. You know, things are down. We've got some other videos that are going to be some indicators that are going to show that times are getting tough right now, and I don't think people are prepared for it. I think especially like the Republican base of America was Trump's going to get in and things are going to get great again. You know, make America great again. We're going to do it, but there's a lot of people that have a vested interest in destroying this fucking country. And they're not just going to lay down and let Trump do whatever the fuck he wants. They're going to keep interest rates high. They're going to keep printing money. They're going to, you know, keep committing crimes and sending money, you know, under the books. And it's going to be a nightmare. I really think that we've got some rough times coming up economically in this country. Are you guys feeling it at all up there? Are you guys anticipating a busy, you know, peak season, or is it one of these deals where it's like, hey guys, it might be slower this year?
Well, we are anticipating like a real busy season actually, because it's I believe it's a anniversary year for Sturgis, so it should be like a huge turnout. So, you know, that is just, you know, it's like the Farmer's Almanac. That's just kind of what should happen, but that doesn't mean it's going to happen. But like you said, with Vegas and disposable income and stuff like that, that's same thing with the motorcycle industry. When money gets tight, you know, the wife makes the husband sell that fucking stupid dangerous motorcycle in the garage that does nothing,
or
but
just not
drain
buy
money.
another one. You know,
not buy another one, put off services.
You're not going to trade it in for a newer one. It's just not really going to happen. And while we're on bikes quickly, you sent me an article about Harley Davidson. It sounds like the hog Nazi is out. We got a coup.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah.
What are you hearing?
I haven't heard a whole lot like internally, just what you know, just from those articles, but and he pulled the old I'm gonna retire, like I'm gonna quit before I fucking get fired. So but we'll see. I've heard that, you know, it's a little bit concerning because apparently he like packed the board with a bunch of his buddies and everything, which is kind of what that second one I think was kind of touching on, with the largest shareholder, I think it was. They were trying to
BlackRock,
get
Vanguard.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens.
To make this into an ESG company, and it's not working. I could imagine that like this is kind of like the same middle management coup that we're seeing within like the CIA and within the deep state, where people are like guys our age, especially, like we're coming into our prime essentially, as you know, as far as like controlling the nation. Like our generation is getting to the point where in our early 40s where it's time to start taking over, where we are sick of these fucking boomers making stupid decisions that make us look bad. And I can imagine as a younger guy, like that article was showing, that guy looked like he was our age. And I can imagine somebody who's put their blood, sweat, and tears into Harley Davidson is not happy with the way upper management has been running it. I would be fucking, you know, infuriated. You are, and you're not even, you know, close to the management level. I would imagine that like that entire company is just fucked up from the top down. And as you go from the top, it goes from like incompetent, more competent, more competent, more competent, until it finally gets out to the shops where you guys are fully competent, you know? And I totally can see this being a coup, and I'm glad to see it. It had to happen. There was no way they were going to be able to turn it around until they got him and his philosophy out of the boardroom.
Yep. Yeah. And like you said, definitely like the owner of my dealership, he definitely wanted him gone. As soon as I saw that, I sent him the link to it, and he was just like, about time.
Yeah, it had to happen.
So,
There
and
was
that's
just no way for him to stay. He's a failure.
Yeah.
It's there's no way to look around it. He could make excuses and say that people aren't ready for the future. Like, I would imagine that would be kind of his thought, is like, we're being progressive. We're trying to take the brand into the future, and our ridiculously stupid fucking customers can't see what we're trying to do and aren't allowing us to do what needs to be done to take this brand into the future. We've got one foot stuck in the past and one foot in the future, and the people in the past are controlling that foot, and we don't want that. But in reality, like, those are the people that you built the business on. They're the ones who actually like feel something when they see the HD emblem. Like, you can't fucking model a company like Harley Davidson the same way that you're going to do with a car company like a Toyota or something like that. People don't buy cars anymore based off emotions. Back when we were younger, it was like, oh, you're a Chevy guy or a Ford guy. Now it doesn't matter. They're all ran by boardrooms. They're all shit. I've seen tons of videos online of like brand new Chevy pickups having the frame completely rusted out on it after a year. Or, what they're doing to these diesels now is just fucking criminal. They're pumping all of the emissions back through into the intake to reburn everything and make it come out a little cleaner. And all it's doing is gumming up these engines. And now a diesel engine doesn't last any longer than a gas engine. Like, I've been saying this for a while now. I've probably said it to you before, but like, there is such a huge, huge opportunity for a smart business-minded man in this country. All you got to do is build a cheap $20,000 V6 pickup. That's all you got to do. Manual windows, manual locks, no huge fucking screens everywhere. Just a basic, vinyl floors, vinyl seating. You put seat covers over it. Like my 88 Silverado. That was my 88 Silverado. It was vinyl floors, vinyl seats. I had seat covers. I had the electric stuff that was just a nightmare. I wish I had the manuals, windows and door locks. But like, and then you scale it up and do a diesel pickup, like my dad's old Dodge with the mechanical engine in it. You don't have to worry about a computer. You don't have to worry about shit. Thing's just going to chug along for 500,000 miles. If you could sell that pickup for 25 to 30 grand, you would make a killing. But at the same time, you'd probably get killed because the big three don't want
for
this,
sure.
right? So they're probably going to employ the CIA to fucking kill you. So maybe that's why it hasn't happened yet. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, that cheap little 6-cylinder pickup. Mine's a 22 RE. Mine's a 4-cylinder, but that's literally what I drive. That's what I choose to drive because it's still good.
Imagine if Toyota would sell another 22 RE, like just exactly like your pickup, but with a little bit newer. It would sell like crazy. They have the Hilux, whatever they call it. It sells for like $12,000 in the Philippines. But if you want to buy one here, it's going to cost you 70 grand.
Yep. Yeah.
By the time you get all the shipping and the tariffs and all the bullshit, it's a $70,000 pickup. So you're really not getting anything different than your fucking Tacoma at that point.
Yeah, which is bullshit.
It's a real joke. It's fucking, it's criminal what they've done to the car market in this country. People can't afford this shit. Like, there is going to come a point in the very near future where people are not going to be able to afford the cars that they are buying. And on that, I was going to play this one later, but this is a perfect lead into it.
Yeah, what's going on, man?
Not much, man. So I'm calling about the Hummer EV you got. Let's go ahead and talk about
sir.
it. You are upside down big time.
Man, just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Only $100,000, right? 11,000 miles. All right, what do you want out of the situation? Because you said you owe $168,000, and right now MMR and wholesale is right around 79,000.
I bought the vehicle, when the Hummer first came out, essentially when they were marked up over 200,000 at the time, especially when gas prices were really high last year, and some for about 150, and I was the cheapest one in the U.S. at the time. And I jumped on it and got it. I actually had two vehicles. I had a BMW X6 that was brand new, and I had a Silverado that was pretty new as well. So I traded both those in, but I was negative on both of them, so I added that negative equity talk about a crap show. Put about $25,000 down, and I think that obviously would help the sale. I honestly should have walked out of there. I was at a pretty big dealership. Even got a higher interest rate than I've ever received, which is about 10% interest rate on the vehicle.
What were your payments on the Hummer?
Now it's at $3,300.
I like it. I want it. Let's say I offer you $79 for it. Sight unseen. It looks like it's in good condition. You owe $168. We're about $90,000 in negative equity underneath. How would we tackle that? So you can come up with 40 grand cash or $48,000 down, or you said 20?
I said 20, correct.
Okay. 20,000. So right now we'll still be at around 70,000. Yeah, man. I don't know how I could tackle this for you, especially even if I referred you to somebody who could get you into another EV with even the incentives. And let's say there's $25,000 in incentives with your 20 grand down. Like you said, it's 45,000. You still have to roll over a good bit, about $30,000 more. So ideally, you would need at least $40,000 to $50,000 down to get out of this Hummer thing.
That's what I was saying. I mean, I'm into cars. I buy cars. I love cars. But I didn't think about my negative equity on my other vehicle. So I just couldn't fathom how a bank could allow me to roll that much negative equity. Pretty much almost, 200%. They finance 200% loan to value on a vehicle. To me, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, unfortunately, brother, I'm stuck at 79. Even if I could push it to 80, we're still far away from getting a deal.
Yeah.
So.
No, that makes sense. I mean, like I said, even if I was returning it back to the bank, I'm still required, whatever they sell it off at auction, I'm still required to pay that rest of it.
But yeah, brother, well, I really do appreciate the call. Yeah.
What a fucking moron, man.
That's insane.
This guy is not unique. This is happening all over the country every fucking day. I love cars. Buy an old car. Buy a fucking hot rod if you want a nice car. If you're into cars, why are you buying new cars? There's nothing special about these new vehicles. They're not like unique. They all look the same. They're all still modeled off the Escalade from the early 2000s. It's ridiculous that people have this consumer mindset where I have to have a new car. I just have to have a new. One of my buddies just bought a bunch of dirt bikes and his wife wants a new car now, and he's just like, "You have a new car. There's no reason to get you a new car. You have a Toyota Highlander. You have a really nice car. We're not buying you a new car. It's just not going to happen." Oh. Yeah, it's a great car, and she wants something newer and better. And it's like there's no reason to do that. I get that I'm spending money on dirt bikes, but that doesn't mean you just get to go buy a new car. Like maybe we can buy you something fun. Maybe we could do a side-by-side or a four-wheeler so we could all, or a camper so we could all go camping. But a new car when you don't need one is just stupid.
Yep. Yeah, man. Fuck. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, he that guy in that video says he's a car guy and he likes cars. Why the fuck are you buying an EV Hummer? That's
exactly. It's
joke.
not even really a car. There's nothing you can do to it. Like all you're gonna do is keep it clean and looking nice. Like what are you gonna put new tires and rims on it? What else are you gonna do? Can't do exhaust. Can't do intake. Can't do a cold air intake. Like there's nothing you can do to the engine because it doesn't have a fucking engine.
Yep.
It has an electric motor, which I guess you could call that an engine, but you're not hopping it up. You're not going to do anything different with it. It's done. You can't do anything else to it except for cosmetics. And it's not even a good looking car.
No, it's hideous.
I love cars. And gas.
That's the biggest joke.
High. This is another idiot. I know. And this is another idiot move. Well, gas prices were high, so I bought an EV. It's like, dude, energy is energy is energy. If gas prices are high, natural gas prices are high, oil prices are high. I would guess that this guy probably lives in California or Florida. So imagine like, oh, I'm going to buy an EV because gas prices are just out of control. Meanwhile, they're charging you 4 times as much for natural gas at your house as me and you pay. So you're not even really saving yourself any money. You're just taking it from one spot and moving it to another.
And now he's upside down like 100. He's upside down 100K. He could have burned 100K in fuel in a sick ass car instead of buying that piece of shit.
You could buy an old like 55 Vet for 30, 40,000, something like that. Put another 60 into it, and you've got an incredible show car. You could sell for 150 grand or keep it. Like I will never own a new vehicle in my life. I have a 99 Toyota Camry with 99,000 miles on it, and I am not selling that car. I'm good. Maybe it's a 2000. It's in the 2000s. It's like an 06 or so.
I'm pretty sure it's the same year as mine.
Yeah, probably. And I'm
Yeah.
not selling that car. I don't have this weird disease in my brain where if I go to a party or if I go to a concert or if I go out to dinner with my friends that I have to roll up in a nice vehicle. That just
Yeah.
doesn't make sense to me. Like we have friends up here who sold their homes so like I've got a mutual friend, one of my buddies. Him and his wife sold 2 houses in California. Could have kept one and rented it. Could have kept both of them and rented it. Took all that money, bought a house here, bought a $120,000 truck, bought another like $65,000 GTO, dirt bikes, horses, and they were retired. And now they're back to work again because they wasted all their money on stupid shit.
Yep.
It's fucking crazy, man.
Yeah, dude, I'm the same way.
Consumerism is a disease. It really is.
It is, yeah. It's a program disease. But yeah, I was saying the same thing to my girlfriend about like my Corolla. I'm pretty sure it's the same like model as yours,
Yeah.
but that thing I drive that in the summer for better gas mileage, and then I got the 91 pickup, and then I got the 85 4Runner that needs quite a bit of love, but yeah, dude, I told her the same thing. I was like, a lot of people might see me driving around in my little pickup and, probably think, oh, look at that broke ass bitch or
Fucking
whatever.
loser.
But to people
I don't
who
care
know what
if they
that
think
is,
that.
no, I don't either. I don't either. But to
Yeah.
people who know what that thing is and are into old Toyotas, I got it going on.
Yeah, for sure, dude. Like I honestly, like the people who look at you and go, oh, you need a nicer car. I don't want you in my life. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to be judged by the car I drive. If you're going to judge me based on the car I drive, I don't need you in my life. That's just ridiculous, And like,
Yep.
I've got a nice pickup in the garage. I've got my 72 C10. And like, I'm not selling that truck. It's easy to rebuild. There's just no reason I would sell it for a brand new pickup. Like, a brand new pickup is just a money trap. They're not going to last
Yeah.
more than 100,000 miles at this point. And
Mhm.
the gas mileage isn't that much different. We don't have
Nope.
emissions in Idaho, so I never have to have it pass smog, no matter what happens.
Not yet.
It's just not yet. Well, we're moving in the right direction. I don't think it's going to come back. I think
That's
they
good.
got rid of smog and it's staying gone, which is great. And like, imagine
Yeah.
if you were just a car company making that truck we were discussing, you wouldn't even have to sell in California. You could sell into states with no emissions. You could
And
sell
be
in
fine.
Idaho, Montana, Wyoming. There's a couple other states without emissions too, and you'd be fucking great. You don't have to sell to every place in America. You just have to
Well,
sell
or-
enough vehicles to be profitable.
Yeah. Or you could be that's what a lot of motorcycle manufacturers do, especially road bikes, because
Yeah.
like Harleys, there's a bunch of people ask me, there's this electrical connection under the seat on top of the battery tray that's just plugged into a little cover, and a bunch people send me a picture of it. They're like, what the fuck is this for? I'm like, oh, that's for your purge solenoid for your California emissions. So like,
shit.
companies could do that where, their wire harness and everything
Yeah.
has that capability to put that bullshit on there to still sell in those dumbass markets and still probably be profitable and make money and sell a lot of units, but still have that smog free, just, good
And
engine.
dude, having it on just one clip like that is great because then you can go past smog and unplug the thing until you have to pass again. It's not like you
Yeah.
have to completely tear the engine apart. Like when they first started doing smog, my grandfather, he bought a 1973 Chevy pickup, 3/4 ton, single cab, brand new, expecting to get a great truck. My dad had a 72 Blazer. He had older pickups. Like he was expecting this thing to be a great truck. And they took it to Montana and to go hunting, and the thing barely ran. They could barely get over the mountains to get there because it was so choked up with smog and all that bullshit that the thing barely fucking ran. So they got into Montana and they had to go buy some tools and completely tear the engine apart and take off all
So-
the smog shit. And it took like a whole day to do,
Oh, for
because
sure.
you're not in
Yeah.
your
And then
garage.
with the,
it was a nightmare.
with the elevation change too, that thing's probably still carbureted too, right?
Yep, it was. And it just,
Yeah.
the thing wouldn't run. You know, like he said, going over the Rockies, it was like the thing would not run. And meanwhile, the 72 Blazers just smoking by it. No problem. You know?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
And then
man, these fucking people are nuts with this smog and this climate change. Just, it's out of control.
oh, didn't you hear they changed it back to global warming?
Oh, they did now. Oh, well, you know, we're back and forth.
But yeah, that's
right?
that's another thing. Like at my old shop in California, we would buy and take in on trade out of state bikes, and quite a lot of them because of the amount of military people around in the area. But with California, if an out of state non-California CARB compliant bike came into the state, it had to have, I think, at least 7,000 miles on it for us to be able to touch it. Otherwise, we just bought a paperweight.
These people
you couldn't title it.
Oh, you talked over me.
Oh,
I hit
shit.
a button. These people have brain damage. Bill Cosby. I can't figure out how to get them louder. I've tried. Like, it just kind of decides what sound it's going to be.
Dude,
I took I took the softer ones and put them through audio processing and turned it up 400%, and it doesn't do anything.
Hang on 1 second. Speaking of Bill Cosby, I got something hilarious.
Ooh. I guess I should probably vamp a little bit while Nolan is gone. Let's see. What do I got going on here that I could talk about for a minute? I'm looking around the office. Oh, he's back. Perfect. That was perfect timing. I didn't have to vamp. I couldn't find anything to talk about, so I just kind of did that for a minute.
Nice.
What do we got?
Okay, so I was digging around in some shit out in the shop, like cleaning it up and stuff like this, and I came across this, man, and I just found it hilarious.
Oh shit! Hey, I've got another one. So Bill Cosby, here's a.
Everything that guy just said is bullshit.
Everything that guy just said is bullshit. Too quiet. Doesn't work. I'm gonna have to get rid of that one, but whatever. You know. All right, ready for another video?
Yeah.
Let's check in on the real estate market.
How bad is real estate in Florida right now? I'm going to tell you how bad it is because my buddy just called me from Southwest Florida. He's been a real estate agent for 22 years in Florida. And he just told me that an investor from Canada called him up and said, hey, I want to sell 4 of my investment homes. Can you help me out? And for the first time in his career, he had to say no. He had to say, no, I can't help you for one reason and one reason only. He's already got 16 listings. And with his 16 listings, he's got no showings, no phone calls, no nothing, no appointments, no anything. He said it's absolutely positively dead down there. So he said, what am I going to do with 4 more listings? I can't do anything with the 16 that I have, and the sellers don't want to drop the price. And until they do, there's no point in taking on more houses for sale. But that's how dire it's getting in Florida right now.
Florida's one of the number 1 states to move to in this country right now. That's where people are going. You can't sell houses there. You're pretty screwed elsewhere, right? You know, It's amazing to me. The boomers have destroyed this fucking planet. They've destroyed our country. They've destroyed our fucking economy. I've got 4 investment homes that I need to sell. What the fuck are you doing? Your children and grandchildren are suffering right now. They can't own a home. And these fucking boomers, like I remember I heard this on Tim Dillon a long time ago. Most boomers are selling their live-in house to move somewhere else, and they're buying bigger homes. You're retired. You're a fucking boomer. You're going to die in the next 20 years. Get an apartment and help out your family, you fucking losers. It's just ridiculous, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to talk too much shit, but like, you know, I don't feel like I'm welcome in Northern California anymore. Like where I grew up. Like my family doesn't really want to see me. They don't really talk to me anymore. Like I was talking to my grandmother the other day and she's like, oh, you should come for a visit. And I didn't say this, but it's like, I don't feel welcome there. And, you know, they probably are, you know, angry at me for moving, but it's like I didn't have a choice. And you guys weren't offering me any help at all. You had an investment house behind your property that my sister was living in. She could have easily moved out of that house, and me and my ex-wife could have moved in. We didn't even get offered that chance. And my sister, they knew my sister was leaving. She wasn't going to stay there. He bought another house a couple of years later for my cousin right on there. Where's my fucking help? You guys are angry that I left. I had no choice, and you gave me no fucking options. There was no offer for help. It wasn't like, well, maybe we could figure out one of these houses. There's nothing. It was just have a good one. See ya.
Yep. Well, that's also probably has something to do because you wouldn't bend the knee and kiss the ring.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And like that's been my relationship with my grandparents for my entire life. Is I won't kiss the knee, I won't kiss the ring. We don't need to complain about my grandparents.
Yeah.
That's unnecessary for a podcast. But you know the story. Like it's ridiculous. But you know, it is what it is. There's not really anything I can do about it. It's just crazy to me that these fucking boomers are hoarding homes. They're hoarding their money, and like I am going to die broke. I don't want to die with a bunch of money to leave to somebody to have fun with. Like, no. Like if I've got money at the end of my life, if Bitcoin, which we're going to get into in a minute, if that does what it's supposed to do and I've got some money at the end of my life, I'm going to spend it. I'm going to go to all the races. Maybe I'll buy a fucking self-driving semi-truck and haul some of the privateers' bikes around for them. I don't know.
That'd be
you know, I
sick.
could give it out to people. Like we just had a guy break his back and is paralyzed from the waist down in a supercross wreck a couple months ago. I'd give him a bunch of money if I had it.
Dude,
you know, if I had millions of dollars, it's like, hey man, here's $100,000. Do whatever you need to do.
Yeah. I just saw an article. I don't know if it was that guy that you were talking about. I didn't read the article. It was just a little while ago that I saw it, but it said he died.
Not him, no.
Okay.
No, but people, it happens, you know, like it's a dangerous sport. And this guy, it sucks because like the track was really hard that day. And watching it on TV, all you know is like the track is hard. People are complaining that everything's really peaked out compared to normal. And it turns out that the guy who normally runs the cat and builds the rhythm sections for the track was sick. So they brought in another guy, and he made the track really steep and really difficult. And that guy paid the ultimate price for it. It's fucked up.
Yeah.
And also, though, like the guy who won that race won by like 20 seconds, which is almost unheard of in Supercross because, well, you just know Supercross it's hard. It's really hard. And they've really dumbed down the tracks a lot in the past couple of years. Like when I was racing down in Southern California, I wanted no part of Supercross. Every once in a while, like San Diego was usually the easiest track of the year, and we've been a couple times where it's like I might ride that track, you know. But for the most part, I didn't want any part of it. If I was coming up now, I'd be all in on Supercross because the tracks are so much easier now than they used to be. They used to build whoops with loaders. You know, they just be these big monstrous fucking things that you had to hit them wide open in fourth gear or you just weren't getting across them. Now they're using, you know, dozer whoops that are much smaller. They're only doing 9 whoops now. They've cut it down to 9. They used to be like 15 or 16. So the guys who are really good would separate themselves. And now it's 9 whoops. So you can just go triple, 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 and you don't even have to skim them anymore, which is, it's going to kill, like, it's going to kill the sport in a lot of ways because if they decide to make tracks hard again, they're going to lose that skill.
Well, that's why that guy won by 20 seconds probably because he had that experience.
He was hammering the whoops. They had a big like 40-yard run into the whoops, and he was wide open in 5th gear, just across the fucking things. It was impressive, and everybody else is jumping through him. And dude, there's this new kid racing named Cole Davies. He's a New Zealander. He's like 17, I think. And he's probably the best Supercross rider I've ever seen at that age. He's fucking incredible. Damn. He skims the whoops no matter how fucked up they are. Like he got when he came over here the first time I heard this story last week, they kind of threw him in with the gas team. So Will Hahn was the like team manager and he was the trainer. Kid shows up at the test track for the first time. He's 14. He's got 0 muscle on him. Like just a scrawny little kid's never worked out in his life. And he gets out on the track and he blitzes the whoops first go around. And he was just like, what the fuck did I just see? Like, I've never seen. And he said even the riders were just like, what? He just blitzed the whoops. he's 14. Like, and he's something, man. This kid's going to be really, really good at Supercross. It's fun to watch. Like,
Cool.
people didn't start riding Supercross early back then. Like, you couldn't even get on a Supercross track unless you were really good. Like, I had like one opportunity to ride a Supercross track. I rolled around a couple laps and was like, oh, I can't fucking do this with my suspension. And I just didn't even try, But now you can just pay money and go to a training facility. There's guys at Club MX right now. There's this kid at Club MX who started riding at 14 and he's racing Supercross right now.
Damn.
Fucking incredible. Like, just
that's wild.
how the sport has changed.
I've been on a vintage Supercross kick, watching a lot of Pastrana
Old races,
watching a little Carmichael, watching some freaking Bubba Stewart and shit. And
fun to watch, man. It's fun to watch. Those guys, man, they hung it out. It's the sport has just changed so much. Like, guys don't ride on their heels anymore. Like, back then we used to ride on our arches, and now everybody's on their toes, and it's just a different sport. Guys aren't putting legs out as much. The bikes are way stiffer. It's fun to watch, man. These guys are fucking talented. So where are we on the Bitcoin front?
I want in. I still, like I said, man, I think
You're back
I think
around
we'll have
the
to
orifice again.
yeah, I'm giving the Bitcoin a rim job right now. I'm about to penetrate.
Bitcoin rim job. I love it. That's a great title. Let's listen to some Jack. I hear this a lot. I'm gonna write this down while I'm talking. I hear a lot from, like, my buddy is a contractor and he works for a bunch of different people, and most of them are like all in on Trump and just out on Bitcoin. And like, I had lunch with my grandfather a couple weeks ago, and it came up. And I'm at the point now where I don't even try and push it on people. I don't care. Buy it or don't. It's on you. Like, it doesn't affect me. And he's talking about Bitcoin, and he's just making ridiculous points because he doesn't understand it at all. And he was like, yeah, they're just going to, print a bunch of it and this and that. And I was like, no, like, there's only 21 million, and they're not going to be done printed for like another 140 years. Oh, no, that's not true. And I'm like, okay. And then he looks it up on his phone. Goes, oh, you were right. I'm like, yeah, man. If you got any questions, just give me a holler. But the one thing that my buddy TJ gets a lot is, oh, we're too late. Our buddy John, it's too late. John's dad, it's too late. We missed the bubble. Here's Jack Mahler on, is it too late to buy Bitcoin?
Listen, I hear a lot about, I'm late to Bitcoin. I've said this before. That's a problem with your ego. Saying you're late to Bitcoin is an ego test because Bitcoin doesn't keep attendance. Bitcoin doesn't keep time. Saying you're late is because you're comparing yourself to someone else. So my message to you is stop comparing yourself to your friends. Stop comparing yourself to your siblings. Stop comparing yourself to your coworker. Stop comparing yourself, especially to people on the internet that you've never met, and you don't even know how much of their life that they're selling to you is real. Stop comparing yourself to anybody. You are not late to Bitcoin. You are right on time because it's not a competition and it's not an ego test. Bitcoin, at the end of the day, is the only fixed supply thing you can own, period. You're never late. Because here's the thing, guys, money is just your time and your energy in an abstracted form, okay? We all get up and we do valuable stuff for people, okay? Whether that's mowing a lawn, starting a business, being an accountant, helping someone with their taxes, making people sandwiches for lunch. We create value for those around us. In return for that value, we get money. So money represents your time, your energy, your effort, your labor, your work, okay? At the end of the day, whether you know it or not, you have to make a decision of how you want that time, that energy, that work, that effort, that labor to be stored. If you store it in something like dollars, you're at risk of them printing more dollars and making your time, energy, effort, labor worth less. Okay? If you store it in something like Bitcoin, it could be volatile, but you're never at risk of anyone debasing it, making it worth less. In fact, over time, your time and energy just becomes more valuable. So you're never late. Every single day, I make a conscious decision to adopt Bitcoin because every day I get up and I work hard for the people around me, for my employees, for my investors, especially for my customers. And every day I could take that time and energy and put it in dollars, put it in Yu-Gi-Oh cards, put it in Rubik's Cubes. I choose Bitcoin. So Bitcoin doesn't keep attendance. Bitcoin's not about ego. Stop comparing yourself to other people. Wake up, be valuable to the world, and store it in a place that matters. You're not late.
That's a great video. Jack Mahler's very smart.
Yeah.
He's very smart. He the first time I saw him, he was at a Bitcoin conference, and he was like the first speaker to come out. And he was like, "Man, you guys really fucked up. I'm young, I'm energetic, and you guys gave me way too much fucking power." And I was just like, "Ooh, I love it." And then he just went into this whole Bitcoin thing. It was great. You know, $250 in Bitcoin today is worth $2,500 at $1 million. 2,500 is worth 25,000. 25,000 is worth 250,000. Like, it's gonna keep going. People who think they're too late they're missing the boat, and they're doing it to themselves. It's you know, if this thing keeps climbing 1 million, 10 million, there is no too late. There's just not enough. And the only thing I would push back on with him is it is a competition. The competition is who can, you know, whoever buys the most Bitcoin wins. Whoever can control the most Bitcoin wins. Whoever starts to print money to buy Bitcoin wins. It is absolutely a competition, and you want to get into that competition. Everything in life is a competition. We competed for millions and millions of years with other, you know, hominids on this country, on this planet that we put into extinction because we could not live and coincide with Neanderthals. They were violent, they were raping our women, and they were eating us. So we had to fucking come together, figure some shit out, make, you know, armies, whatever you want to, however it ended up going down, and create things like the bow and arrow. The bow and arrow probably ended the Neanderthal because they didn't have the ability to cooperate and say, "Hey, look, you're good at building these bows and arrows. I'm going to harvest some food for you if you make me a bow and arrow." They didn't have that ability. We do. And it's competition, man. It's always a competition. And one guy who has, you know, said this over and over again is Michael Saylor.
I think that's what's happening now. The industry is growing up. It's becoming more secure. It will be accepted by banks. It will. I'll leave it at this thought, which is when your bank tells you they'll buy Bitcoin for you and they'll make it really easy, and you can do it on the phone, it'll cost you $1 million Bitcoin. And when your bank calls you on the phone and says, you know, you really ought to buy Bitcoin, it's a digital monetary alternative, and when they recommend it, it'll cost you $10 million of Bitcoin. And right now, no bank's going to recommend it, and they're not going to help you buy it, and you're going to have to jump through hoops, and you're going to feel really nervous about it, but you'll get to buy it around 100,000 or a little bit less than 100,000 of Bitcoin. And I think they're all three the same risk-reward proposition. And I bought it at 10,000. I'm buying it in billions of dollars of quantity at 100,000. I'll be buying it at $1 million. I'll be buying it at 10 million.
Yeah, man. That's the way you do it. You just fucking spend the money and you go for it. So today, Michael Saylor bought 15,355 Bitcoin at $95,000 for $1.42 million. That gives him 553,555 Bitcoins worth $37.9 billion. And that sounds like a lot, but we're still talking chump change here. Like, Elon Musk is worth hundreds of billions of dollars. Like, we're still early. And I think this video was a really good one. We'll play this again just right back to back because there's not really much to say in between these videos. Just Bitcoin, you know. So this is a great one to illustrate how early we still are.
So we're now in Ohio, and I want to show you something. I pulled off the side of the road, and randomly there's this store. And there's something I'm going to show you that's on their window outside that in the next 10 years, you're going to see completely different. Okay, so check this out. So as you can see, I'm in a random butcher shop. But what I wanted to point out was the signs. Visa and MasterCard. promoting that, well, they accept those, which they probably put up years and years and years ago. So how long have you guys been here?
We have been open since 1907, and it's been family owned and operated since.
So clearly that was my point. They've been around for over 100 years. And that's why these signs are on there and all worn out. But eventually you're going to see signs that say accepting Bitcoin, Ethereum, or whatever the major cryptos are. And people don't see that. Like, once you can understand that, you can realize how early we really are. Like, you have, we accept Apple Pay and all that, right? Visa and all these. Well, this is going to be crypto as well. That's the new iteration of the financial system. And it's not on every building yet. That's how early you are. You're getting in before it gets put on the buildings where everybody starts using it. Let me say that again. Do you understand how early we really are? And you're freaking out because we've had a couple of months of down action. You guys understand that literally these cryptos that we talk about, not all of them, but some of them are going to be accepted as payment, just like Visa, just like MasterCard, just like Apple Pay. It's all going to change. And you're that early that you don't see it, which means you're still super early on an investment standpoint. Do you get it? Are you understanding? Put a 1 in the chat if you get what I'm saying.
All right. So I don't think that boomers are ever really going to get their head around this. Most of them, for the most part, they don't want any part of it. They don't want to hear about it. They don't want to learn about it. They're in the stock market, and this other stuff is just noise, essentially. And they don't believe at all that it's going to do what it's going to do. But also, they can barely use a cell phone. So once these people start dying off, which is actively happening, financial markets are going to change. Gen X is going to have a better ability to get their head around it than the boomers, and millennials already understand it. We live on the internet. We've been on, most millennials have lived on the internet for half their lives. Me and you, not so much. Like, I wasn't really into social media or anything until I got hurt. But, the time is coming. It's coming quick. And when it happens, it's going to happen. Like, just imagine, all the boomers died off today and left all their money to Gen Xers and millennials. What do you think they're going to put that money into? They're not going to go back into the stock market. They're not going to go buy overpriced real estate or expensive cars. They're going to go buy some Bitcoin or some Ethereum or whatever else, they want to buy. Like, this is going to happen. It's going to take some time. And like, one thing that really pisses me off is like, Dave Portnoy does this all the time. Oh, you just bought Bitcoin. No, I didn't just buy Bitcoin. I bought Bitcoin and then went on a fucking roller coaster staring down the barrel of a gun. I watched it go from 79,000 back down to 30,000. Watched my entire net worth, go in half. But I stared down the barrel of that gun, and now look where we're at. It's going to happen again in the next few months. Like, people are talking that we're not going to get corrections. We're not going to have a bear market. I think, especially since the economy overall is in bad condition, we're going to see a housing crisis. We're going to see a debt crisis, all of it's going to happen again. This is just a matter of time. It's not if, it's when. And if all of these things are down, it's not like Bitcoin's just going to go, oh yeah, we're just going to stay where it's going to go down too. This thing rocks off of cycles. I don't believe that we're at a point where it's stabilized yet. Someday it's going to stabilize and it's going to become a lot less volatile. Personally, I don't think we're there yet. And I could be wrong. I'm staring down the barrel of a gun right now. I could buy at $100,000. I've got some money that I could put in right now, but I'm going to take the risk and wait for the bear market to roll in. And I might regret that. Maybe it doesn't go down. Maybe, I'm waiting for a $35,000 to $50,000 price range, and maybe it hits 60 and doesn't go any further than that. I don't know what's going to happen, but I do know that we are going to have better entry points than this in the coming days. And I think people should be ready for that. I don't think it's a bad idea to dollar cost average. If you can spare $50 out of a paycheck, you throw your $50 in there, and then you take another $250 and throw it into an account where you're waiting for that day, and you really gotta hammer down and like, stop spending money on stupid things. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to people in general, but you could probably fall into this camp too. Stop spending money at bars. Stop spending money at Cabela's buying stupid shit. Don't buy that second car that you don't need. Stop refinancing your house for vacations. Like you got to buckle down through these hard times. And, Warren Buffett got rich off of a couple well-timed trades. He's not one of these guys who's in the market every day going in and out and in and out. He waits for the right time and he has that money waiting, and then he'll go all in when it's time. And you pick a couple of good assets that you're a fan of, and you fucking hammer those assets. Bitcoin, real estate, those are the things you want to be putting your money into, not bars and cars and, extra this and extra that. Clothes. I haven't bought in clothes. Like, only time I ever get new clothes is when I go to a concert and get a t-shirt. Like, I haven't bought in clothes in fucking years because I don't need them. I have an entire, closet full of clothes. Why do I need a new shirt or something? It's stupid. Like, get what you need and survive off of that, and buckle down and make some good, well-timed trades. I think that's what people should be doing right now. I've lived extravagantly and at times, and right now I don't. I'm barely getting by, and that's going to be a short-time thing. I could pay myself out of Bitcoin if I really wanted to, but I would rather buckle down and live, a life of not very much luxury and have, a better time in my 50s and 60s than I do now.
That's all shit that's starting
money on stupid shit.
That's all shit that's starting to really get in my head, and then that goes along with the whole Bitcoin stuff, and I think we should do an episode where I pop my Bitcoin cherry, and
it'd be boring. It'd be super boring. It's just, all you got to do is you go on to swanbitcoin.com, you create a profile, you connect your bank account to it, you buy the Bitcoin on Swan, and then you transfer it to your hard wallet. That easy.
Yeah.
It's just, like Michael Saylor said, it's stressful. You're taking your money that has been safe for all of your life. You've been able to depend on the bank to keep your money safe. And sometimes, exactly. But they're devaluing it, and they're loaning out more money than they have. Like, they're allowing people to buy cars for hundreds of thousands of dollars who can't afford it. Like, they can't afford that. It's crazy. I've got another video on here about first-time home buyer loans are getting out of control, and people are getting up and over their head with their mortgages, and these banks are allowing people to buy homes that don't have the ability to buy them. So we're going to see another housing crisis. Like, I expect to see a 40% pullback in real estate in the next couple of years.
Yeah,
I was considering buying a house just a couple months ago. I can afford a new house. Like, if I'd have to tighten up, but I've got the money where I could do the down payment. It would depend on what the house is like. Like, I would like to buy a place that's kind of ran down and then do a fixer upper and rent the rooms out. But, then you got to afford the mortgage. You've got the down payment. You got the time that you're not renting the house out, that you're paying the mortgage. And then you've got, your costs for rebuilding the house. So I'm not looking to get in right now as of now, because I think we're going to see some great opportunities in the next coming years.
Yeah. That's another thing I wanted to, because you had mentioned there could be a way to roll my 401k into Bitcoin without getting penalized.
Yeah, so there's a Bitcoin IRA that you could do, and you could roll that over. It wouldn't cost you anything, because you're going from one asset class to another. My buddy TJ's better with this shit than I am, but yeah, you can do that without accruing penalties, where if you cash out your 401k to cash, then you've got to pay capital gains on it. Where if you just roll it over into a different asset, you don't have to pay shit. And then with the Bitcoin IRA, you can put up to I think it's $7,500 a year in, and it's just non-taxable. There's no capital gains on these IRAs. So it's definitely an option. I'll have to quiz my buddy TJ on it and kind of get a little bit more up so I can explain it a little bit better to you. But there's,
that's really interesting
YouTube videos and shit like that, because that's an interesting prospect, right?
Yeah.
I would never want a 401k after learning, knowing what I know about the financial system and Bitcoin at this point, because you've got a couple idiots who are going to be putting your money into shit that you don't even know where they're putting it. And what gives them the ability to make these decisions any better than you. Personally, I would much rather control my own wealth and put it where I think it's valuable than let some asshole I've never met do it, who's
For sure.
probably getting payoffs. These guys who are
Oh,
running
big
these
time.
401ks or these big hedge funds, they're getting payoffs. It's like a sponsorship almost. You know what I mean? It's dirty games.
And all
So
all
would
I
not
did,
want those people.
I definitely have those thoughts and feelings. The main reason I went ahead and set one up was mainly
It's better than nothing.
and better than nothing. And worst case scenario, I that money's coming out of my check and going into account, and I just try to like leave it, forget about it. And the whole game plan was to, in the back of my mind, eventually, because I assumed there would eventually be a way to like pull that and put it into Bitcoin without getting fucking dinged or whatever, but or pull, have it sit there, accrue, pull it out, buy and put that right into Bitcoin. But at least if nothing else, I have that building, and then that because my dealership, they match, I think, up to 3%. So I was like, all right, well,
Oh, nice.
do the 3%. That way they're matching the 3, and we'll let it ride and see what we can do in the future.
And I don't know if you could set that up to where you could substitute your 401k for an IRA and still get 3%. That would have to be between like you and your boss, probably. I don't really know. I think
Yeah.
401ks are kind of set up to where they have to do that. So I don't know. I wouldn't expect them to be contributing 3% to your Bitcoin IRA, but you're talking about like 3% compared to massive gains or a 401k that just sits there. I'd probably rather forfeit the 3% and go into something that's actually going to accumulate and
For
pay me
sure.
when I'm later.
For sure.
Maybe
But
when I'm
that was all. Like, I barely understand all of this financial stuff. And like I said,
Me
if
too.
anything,
I'm
at least
talking-
it's in there.
I'm in a 7-foot pool right now with my head just above water.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm talking about either. A little bit, a little more than you, but I don't know what I'm talking about either. This is not financial advice, people. I'm not a financial
Yeah.
advisor. Nolan is
Yeah.
an economist and a financial advisor, so listen to him, not me. All right,
Oh,
I've got one fuck the police. You know what? That needs to be a button. I don't know why I didn't think
Yeah.
that. We got to have a fuck the police button.
Yeah.
That'll
Was
be
that
next
Ice
week.
Cube?
Or-
Ice
Hell
T?
yeah.
No, Ice Cube.
NWA, motherfucker.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Nothing. I mean, it's 420, but I don't smoke any weed.
What is it you were smoking? There's nothing even in here, it's just water. What's all the smoke coming out of your car?
Oh, that was just for effect. That's a smoke machine.
What smoke machine?
Oh, just the one in the back seat.
So this is like a joke? Is that why you're dressed like that?
You don't like the fit?
So if you're not under the influence, are we going to have any other issues tonight?
I'd hope not.
Please don't sit in front of the police department and drink non-alcoholic beer. It's just silly.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions?
Do you want to hit before I go?
Don't be silly. Please leave.
Oh, fuck.
Oh my goodness. Well,
That's hilarious.
Nolan, I think we did it. Let's fucking call it there. We can't top it. That was the greatest fucking cop prank I've ever seen. I hope it was real.